America has roughly $900 billion to spend on military defense thanks to the recently signed debt ceiling deal. But will that money be put to the best possible use? In a recent editorial in Defense One, Jane Harman, the chair of the Commission on the National Defense Strategy, who was the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee from 2003 to 2006, says that despite our ever-increasing defense budget, the state of our national security hasn't improved as much as it should. And nine-term California Congresswoman Jane Harman joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks for being with us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
In your recent op-ed, you say that while defense spending has gone up, the strategic environment is no more promising now than it was in 2018. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, first, I had a co-author, Eric Edelman, who's a Republican and a former Undersecretary of Defense and ambassador. So this is a bipartisan rant about the way we misspend money. The strategic environment in 2018 was before the pandemic. It was before Ukraine. It was before a change in leadership in the United States, et cetera, et cetera. And the commission was pretty hard-headed then. I did not serve on it. But when you look at it now, no, we haven't made enough progress. And the point of our op-ed is that more isn't necessarily better. Better is better.
Yeah.
How we spend the money, not how much money we spend. We're not saying we should spend less, but this sort of boneheaded argument that just spending more makes us safer obviously doesn't work.
And I was going to ask you, is this a case of overspending or just not spending properly? How do you answer that?
Maybe the first, definitely the second. We spend too much money defending legacy programs, the things that won the last war. I know that because I represented a defense-dependent district in Congress for 9 terms, and that's where the pressure came from, the folks who made all that stuff. We also spend too little on emerging technology. I mean, everybody's now talking about cyber and AI. That has to be the first thing we talk about, not the last thing we talk about. We also don't talk about adequate reforms of the Pentagon, which is a bureaucratic hidebound agency in spite of big efforts, but procurement reform, supporting the defense industrial base. Look at Ukraine. We can't make weapons fast enough to get them to Ukraine. Yeah. Why can't we? Remember Rosie the Riveter in World War II and what we could do with airplanes? And finally, and this is really important to me, keeping the country safe doesn't just depend on defending the country using military might. It depends on a whole of government response, which means humanitarian aid. It means diplomacy. I applaud Anthony Blinken for going to China yesterday and meeting with Xi Jinping. That's part of our security strategy. It needs to be more a part and the first part of our security strategy.
Well, Congresswoman Jane Harman, thank you so much for your time. I understand you have to be out in 30 seconds, so we'll invite you back on for the second part of this interview. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, see you soon.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.